And welcome to the annual Celebration of Giving hosted by the Door County Community Foundation. We are so grateful that you are all here today. For those I haven't met yet, I am Jessica Holland, and I'm the Vice President of Philanthropic Services at the Foundation. I'm also a musician, and the other day I heard a beautiful song by Bobby Charles for the first time. He opens by singing, "Wild apple trees blooming all around, I must be in a good place now." He then goes on to sing about a rainbow-colored sky, fishing at sunset, and love all around. He must be in a good place now. I think many of us feel this way about being in Door County. There's beauty, inspiration, community. We are in a good place now. But what I've really come to understand and appreciate since joining the foundation is that places like this don't become good by accident. They become exceptional because people care about them, believe in them, invest, and take responsibility for their future. That spirit is all around us in Door County. It's present in the people who give generously because they care about what happens here. Philanthropy is an act of love. One very important way the people show that they believe in this place and the people that make it. The truth is that this is a good place because generations of people have chosen to make it one. Through their and your generosity, we strengthen organizations, protect what makes this place special, and create opportunities. And today, we are gathered to celebrate the exceptional generosity and philanthropic leadership of Steve and Jackie Kane. Before I hand over the mic to Jim Vanderheiden and Brett McCoy to present the Richard D. Egan Philanthropic Leadership Award, I also want to recognize everyone that's in this room. Thank you for being part of what makes this place special, for creating community with and for one another, and for making sure that this is a special place for generations to come, so that those behind us can feel the way we feel today, that we're in a good place now. At this time, I'd also like to thank our sponsors, whose generous support helps make this event possible. I'm going to ask that everyone hold your applause until I'm done thanking all of them, and I will let you know once that's happened. So thank you first to our gold level sponsors, John and Nell Erlash, Stephen and Lisa O'Hearn, Doug and Vicki Wilson. Thank you also to our bronze level sponsors, Debbie and Fred Anderson, Lana Vio and John McGinnis, John and Rose Bakowski, Natalie and George Korchinski, Harbor Guest House and Alibi Marina, Main Street Market, Keith and Sherry Muschler, Nicolay National Bank, Peninsula Pulse, Kirk and Donna Scattergood, James and Deborah Vanderheiden, and Dan Westbrook. I also want to thank our additional sponsors acknowledged on the back of your programs. Thank you all for your support and for helping make this event free so that we can gather here today to celebrate philanthropy in Door County. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the chair of the board for the director of the Community Foundation, Jim Vanderheiden.
Thank you, Jess. For those of you that might be concerned that I might start singing, not a chance. So my name is Jim Vanderheiden, and I'm currently the chair of the foundation, and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you on behalf of our board of directors. A big thank you to all of you that showed up today and attended this event, and for all of you good citizens of Door County that are working quietly behind the scenes to do good things while we're enjoying the afternoon here. Thank you. As Jess was speaking a minute ago, it occurred to me that both she and I are the warm-up opening acts for Brett. And I have to say, I attended a Bruce Springsteen concert a few months ago in Minneapolis, and I noticed that he had 2 opening acts before his concert. So I just want to congratulate Brett for rising Bruce Springsteen. And if I refer to him as Bruce sometimes instead of Brett, you'll understand. I'd also like to note, I think it's important to note that over the past year, we've decided to name this important award for the foundation after Dick Egan. And many of you here have known Dick over the years. Dick is one of our founding principals and our guiding light. And we think of him here today. Annie is here in the room, and I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the contributions of Dick and Annie. So the foundation was formed, and I just learned the exact date, in 1999, with Brett joining in 2008. And with that, it means that we have the good fortune of having given this award to many worthy recipients over the years. And many of those are in the room with us today, and I wanted to recognize those people. And so if you could please stand when I call your name. Father Anthony Birdsall. David Vonnie Carlson. David's here. Annie Egan. Dave Elliott. John Helash. Tom and Jill Helash. Tim and Sue Stone. And Vicki Wilson. Did I miss anyone? Did I miss any? Eric. Oh, Eric, I'm sorry. Eric Paulson. All right. So I'd also like to take a moment to introduce my colleagues on the board of directors. It's truly an all-star cast, and I've really enjoyed working with them over the past few years. So if you could please stand when I call your name, and if you could hold your applause until everyone's standing, I'd appreciate it. Fred Anderson. Inga Bacon, I don't think Inga made it today. John Bykowski. John, over here. Greg Diltz. Greg. Natalie Gorczynski. John Hauser. John Kurlash. Kristen Jeancourt. John McGinnis. Keith Muchler. Steve O'Hearn. Jeff Otto. Donna Scattergood. Ann Westbrook. And Vicki Wilson. If we could give them a round of applause. not least, I want to recognize the Community Foundation professional staff. And if you could stand when I call your name, and let's hold our applause until everyone's standing. Heidi Kopiski, there we are in the corner. Jean Gofford, Julie Hain, Jessica Holland, Adam Peranto, Adam's over here, Rachel Starr, and Kim Schumacher. Please give them a round. So much of the work that goes into pulling this event off is on their shoulders while they're doing their day jobs as well. So we really appreciate all the work that goes into making this happen. I look forward to this event every year. I hope many of you do as well. It's sort of our one big event that the foundation does each year. It's really nice to see our friends in the audience. So finally, I'd like to thank and recognize some outgoing board members. And this is a sort of a bittersweet moment every year, especially this year. So collectively, we're saying farewell, sort of, we know where they live, we stay in touch, to three long-standing clients that collectively bring 25 years of experience with the foundation. So that's right, 25 years, that's a lot of knowledge that is leaving us, but hopefully we can tap into them and keep them close to us as we go forward. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize each. And so if Jeff Adam and Vicki Wilson could just come forward, I'd appreciate it. Inga is the third. See, what did I tell you? Thanks. I'll start with you, Jeff, if that's okay. I've made some notes here. I want to get this right. So Jeff joined the board in 2015 and served in many roles, including treasurer, vice chair, board chair, and now past chair. Did I miss anything? No, okay, all right. He's also served on all of the standing committees at one time or another. And I don't know if anyone knows more about the inner workings of a community foundation than Jeff Otto. He could give a master class on it. Everything from finance and investment, human resources, strategic planning. He's done it all. Even managing the CEO. He's got special skills in that category. And I've learned everything I know from Jeff, so there we go. He knows Door County really well and has great instincts about when and how a community foundation can get involved in the community and add value. Jeff was chair prior to my term and served as my mentor and my friend. So thank you, Jeff, for all you've done for the foundation and for the community. And then there's Vicki. Vicki joined the board a few years after Jeff in 2018 and was recognized previously for her leadership role in the Women's Fund of Door County. We've had experience of all walks of life on the board, but Brett often reminds us that the most valuable experience that we have, given the nature of our work, are the successful entrepreneurs in the community. And Vicki is just that. If you've ever had the opportunity to work with Vicki, you know the energy and optimism that she brings into the room. When we have meetings, the meetings are starting to get started, things are kind of quiet. Vicki walks in and things get moving. Among the many other accomplishments in recent years, notably she volunteered, I think it was a volunteer job, to take on a leadership role in restructuring the child care in Door County, along with one of our honorees today, Steve Kane. And while we're all mostly retired on this board, Vicki is doing all of this while she's running an international coffee business along the way. So thank you so much for being a wonderful colleague and friend and all you've done for the Community Foundation. but she has served for 6 years, brought a lot to the table, always challenging and bringing wisdom to our conversations, and we'll make sure that we share this token of appreciation with Inga next time we see her. So thank you, Inga. So before I turn it over to Bruce, Brett, I'd like to share that it's been a real honor for me to be part of this organization. My personal experiences range from other boards within Door County and throughout Wisconsin, but this board is top notch and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. This small community foundation had assets of $4 million back in 2008, continues to grow, and due to your generosity and the confidence of the community, we've now reached over $75 million. I think you'll find that if you peel back the layers around any successful initiative, improvement within the community, then you can always find the fingerprints of the foundation. It's the quiet and thoughtful impact that the foundation makes behind the scenes that we're most proud of. The person most responsible for that impact is our next speaker, Brett McCoy. And I realized when I was putting my notes together that we've recognized lots of important people here, but we didn't recognize perhaps one of the most important ones in Brett, because none of this would happen without him. So Brett was selected as CEO and leader of the organization by Dick Egan, who had the wisdom and the foresight to tap young Brett on the shoulder 18 years ago, and ask him to lead the organization. Brett's built an amazing team, and you've seen and met many of them here today, and earned the trust of this community. And as outgoing chair, I want to thank Brett for your leadership and all that you do within the Door County community. So thank you, Brett. And with that, Brett's up next.
So the best thing that I've heard today, besides Jessica singing, is the Bruce Springsteen analogy. And I would note that Bruce has another nickname for him. He's called the Boss. So in case there's any kind of ambiguity here, before I say anything else, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to express our sincerest gratitude to Jim Van Graan. Today's event is probably the last official act during Jim's term as chairperson of the Community Foundation's Board of Directors. You know, the totality of our financial assets is a crude measure of the Community Foundation's impact. However, the magnitude of money flowing through our coffers does say something about the trust people place in the Board of Directors of the Door County Community Foundation. During Jim's 2-year tenure as our board chair, the Community Foundation has received contributions of approaching $30 million. Even more amazing, during his tenure as leader of our board, the Community Foundation has distributed more than $20 million in grants to our community. Jim has been a calm, consistent voice and deserves our deepest thanks and appreciation for his service. So please join me in giving a round of applause for our Every year, it's my responsibility to say a few words about why the Community Foundation has chosen to celebrate such community-minded people as Steve and Jackie Kane. The history of their involvement and generosity in Door County is well known, so I won't go through all of it here today, but if you do want to learn more, you can read about it in the philanthropy issue of Door County Living magazine, which is on all of your tables. Today, I want to talk a little bit about my personal experience with Steve and Jackie Kane. I've had the opportunity to work with Steve in particular on several nonprofit projects and community initiatives. And if there's one thing I've learned about Steve Kane is that when the situation becomes chaotic, uncertain, and maybe even a little dangerous, Steve apparently views that as an invitation for him to get involved. You know, it was about 18 months ago. Door County found itself facing a child care crisis. The Door Community Child Development Center and the Children First Development Center, two of our community's 3 primary child care providers, were both running out of money. Both organizations were just days away from collapsing. If they had failed, the impact would have rippled far beyond the families directly involved, because child care isn't just about caring for children. Child care is what allows young parents to work. It helps employers retain employees. It is part of the basic infrastructure of a healthy community. And when child care systems collapse, the effects spread throughout the community. During that crisis, the Community Foundation stepped in. We covered payroll, worked feverishly to stabilize the situation, and orchestrate a merger between the 2 failing centers. And in the midst of all this chaos, somehow, Steve Kane accepted Vicki Wilson's invitation to join us and help lead the effort. Now, mind you, at that point, nobody knew whether this thing was going to work or not. The finances were fragile, emotions were running high, there were difficult decisions everywhere you looked. So naturally, apparently, Steve thought, oh, this is the perfect time for me to get involved with this charity. As the new organization was taking shape, I remembered the conversations about what we were going to name this new consolidated child care center. And Steve enthusiastically proposed a name for our new combined Center for Children. He wanted to call it Running with Scissors, Inc. Seriously, the guy he didn't just suggest the name, he designed his own logo for this thing. He puts it up on a big screen during a board meeting. Unfortunately for Steve, and thankfully for our community, apparently Running with Scissors, Inc. is already trademarked in the state of Wisconsin. So we settled on Go Away and Learn. Now, when many people looked at that crisis and saw confusion, risk, and uncertainty, Steve saw a community problem that needed people willing to step forward and help solve it. That's who Steve and Jackie are. They're people who pay attention to their community. And the more I've reflected on both of them, the more I've come to believe that perhaps the beginning of generosity, or maybe even the beginning of love itself, is attention. Not simply admiration from a distance, not vague appreciation, attention. The willingness to truly notice other people and the community around us. While Steve and I have been a part of many meetings together over the years, I haven't had the same opportunity to work with Jackie. But we've heard wonderful things from our friends at the YMCA where they praise her leadership there. But I just haven't had the chance to work with her like I have with Steve. And yet, in many ways, for as much as I've heard Steve talk, well, and frankly it's been a lot, it's actually Jackie who said something to me last year which really touched me and made me reflect. She taught me something about gratitude, probably in a way that she doesn't even realize. Last year, Carrie and I had the opportunity to sit with Steve and Jackie at a dinner event. Now, over the years, many people have thanked me for the work of the Community Foundation, and I've always appreciated what they do. But if I'm being honest, sometimes those compliments feel perfunctory, a little automatic. Oh, you guys are doing great work. Now, it's kind of people to say, but it often feels more like social politeness than genuine gratitude. But that evening, Jackie spoke with me about some of the work that the Community Foundation did in our community. It was a brief conversation, but she wasn't speaking generally. She mentioned some specific efforts around housing and childcare. She talked about real challenges facing Door County, and in particular ways that the Community Foundation was trying to respond. It became immediately clear that Jackie had been paying attention. She had taken the time to read, to listen, and to understand. She cared enough to really notice. And frankly, I was surprised at how deeply I was moved by that conversation. Not because she praised our work, but because she noticed it. She was, in a way, essentially saying, I see what you're trying to do. I see the burden that your team has accepted as its own, and I want you to know that I noticed and that your work matters. There is something profoundly human about being seen. Every one of us wants to believe that our labor matters, that our sacrifices matter, that somebody noticed. And what Jackie said to me that evening made me realize something truly profound. Gratitude is not merely saying thank you. Gratitude is the gift of one's attention. It's the willingness to stop centering the world around ourselves long enough to truly notice what someone else has contributed to our lives or to something that we love. And perhaps nowhere is that more important than in a community. Because healthy communities depend on enormous amounts of invisible labor. So much of what sustains Door County happens quietly in board meetings, planning sessions, volunteer projects, and difficult conversations that frankly most of us will never see. People invest their time, their judgment, and their energy into strengthening institutions that benefit all of us. And they do it because they see something that they love that needs help. And yet the people who have accepted this responsibility, who've decided to carry our collective burdens, have no idea whether anyone will notice at all. Gratitude begins when we pay attention. Gratitude is the gift of saying, I noticed what you did for us. And that, I think, is one of the great truths about our life in Door County. At first, we simply enjoy our life in this community. We enjoy the life we've built here, the friendships, the traditions, the sense of belonging that slowly grows between people and this place. But if we pay close enough attention, eventually we begin to realize that none of this sustains itself. The organizations we depend upon, the opportunities available to our children, the arts, the parks, the charities, the institutions that quietly shape our quality of life here, all of them exist because someone, somewhere, paid attention. Somebody noticed and decided those things were worth preserving. Somewhere along the way, Steve and Jackie went beyond simply enjoying the life that Door County offered them. They went beyond merely being grateful for their life on this peninsula and accepted responsibility for working to preserve it. I think that attentiveness matters now more than ever because modern life constantly trains us to be distracted. We move quickly. We consume information endlessly. We glance at things rather than truly seeing them. And in that environment, it becomes easy to assume that someone else will carry the responsibility for maintaining the institutions and the relationships that shape our lives. But communities cannot survive on autopilot. A healthy community requires people willing to notice what matters and then commit themselves to strengthening it. And that's why gatherings like this matter. This celebration of giving is not merely an annual tradition. At its best, this afternoon is a communal act of gratitude. It is an opportunity for all of us together to pause long enough to notice the people whose efforts have strengthened this community that we love. Now, Jackie, if you'll indulge me for just one more moment, I want to return to that conversation that we had last year. I don't think you realized at the time just how much your comments meant to me. Here you are, someone who has helped shape and support extraordinary philanthropic work, not only here in Door County, but in communities far beyond our peninsula. You could have easily offered a polite compliment and moved on with your evening. But instead, you took the time to truly notice what the Community Foundation was trying to do to help Door County thrive. You gave us the gift of your attention. And I want you to know how much that meant to me. Because there's something deeply affirming about knowing that someone, somewhere, noticed your effort. That somebody saw the work and understood why it matters. And frankly, Steve and Jackie, that is why we, as a community, are here today. We want you to know that we pay attention, that we noticed. We noticed the ways you stepped forward when this community needed leadership. We noticed the ways you strengthened organizations that make Door County a better place to live. We noticed the care and the attention and the generosity you invested in our community. And we are deeply grateful for both of you. Thank you. And perhaps most of all, thank you for reminding me, and really all of us here, that gratitude is not merely something we say. Gratitude is something we practice when we let people know that we noticed what you did for us. So my friends, please join me in celebrating and thanking and expressing our deepest gratitude to the recipients of the 2026 Richard D. Egan Philanthropic Leadership Award, Steve and Jackie Kane.
Singing the song that Jess sang. Jackie comes in and says, well, what do you have to say for yourself? And I said, well, due to the lateness of the hour, I will forego my prepared remarks and address questions from the floor. Thank you. And some of you may know that we live in Reno, Nevada. Me 9 months of the year, Jackie 11 months of the year. And from time to time we get the question, why do you do this kind of stuff for Door County that you don't really do? Jackie has chaired the Nevada Museum of Art and on the, former board, but our philanthropy is really in Door County. I said, why do you do that? And the answer is pretty simple. It's the C's. Not S-E-A-S. It's the C's. It's the culture. It's the community. It's the collaboration. It's the connection. It's those things that, frankly, are kind of unique to Door County. There is such an effort among the nonprofits in this area to work together to serve the community. It's different than any other place. We've lived in a lot of different cities, and this place is completely different. Just a couple of quick examples. I was the board chair of the Boys and Girls Club, and the newly hired CEO we had on the job for a month died. So we decided to close the club for a week. Who comes racing over to the Y, who used to be like a bitter foe, racing over and saying, we'll take your kids. They need someplace to go. so they went, and they were, you know, ever since the bond has gotten stronger and stronger. And when the Boys and Girls Club talked about getting a new facility, the wives said, what can we do? How can we help? Could any of our land help you? So it's that kind of thing. It's the theaters in Door County. We have 4 actors equity theaters in Door County. In Reno, Nevada, we have none. Not in Harrison. And when they need an extra costume or, you know, a script problem or a microphone goes on, etc., they just go to one of the other theaters, and they're always happy to help each other. The child care doorway to learning works well with Northern Door Child Care Center because they have mutual issues and concerns and challenges. What can we do to better serve the kids in Door County? The Egan Philanthropic has a community partners program where they try and support the various nonprofits in the area by giving part of the proceeds of their preview session to those nonprofits. It's the sense of community that is unique to Door County. And it's why we love it and why we support it philanthropically and with our efforts. You are all here because you love this community. And you know, as Brett says, that if you have strong nonprofits, you have a strong community. And it's absolutely true. So thank you so much for this award. We're really honored. Jackie thinks it was a clerical error, but I told her that it was a stiff competition from Jackie and Ross. I guess we lucked out, so they're right here nominated. So thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for Door County, because this award is an honor for Door County. It's not an honor for Jackie and Steve Kane, but thank you.
That's a pretty tough act to follow. I just want to again close by offering my thanks to all of you from the Community Foundation Board, from the staff, from everybody that works so hard to make that engine run. So thank you very much. There's one closing detail that I need to attend to, and that on program on your tables, as is our tradition, one of them has a star on it. And if you have that program, that you are able to take the centerpiece home with you,